The history of the Ottoman Empire is filled with grandeur, culture, and immense power. But behind its splendor lurked practices that shock even today. Punishment in the Ottoman Empire was not just about retribution, it was about control, fear, and social order. In this video, we'll explore the most terrifying, gruesome, and sometimes mind-bending methods of punishment used by the Ottomans. And here's a question for you right away. Which of these would you never want to face? Think about it as we dive into history. Let's begin with one of the most horrifying methods: eye-gouging. Imagine being restrained in a public square while your eyes are removed with sharp instruments. According to Evliya Çelebi, an Ottoman traveler and chronicler, this punishment was intended not only to incapacitate, but to make an example of the condemned. Losing one's sight was considered a fate worse than death, stripping someone of their ability to navigate the world or participate fully in society. And here's a thought. If you witnessed this in a crowded square, how would it change your perception of law and authority? Pause for a moment and imagine the fear radiating through the crowd. Beheadings were another common yet extremely impactful method of execution. Quick, precise, and public, a sword or axe could end a life instantly, but the psychological impact lasted for years. One of the most famous cases was Sheikh Bedreddin, a former judge and mystic who led a peasant rebellion in 1420. After his forces were defeated, he was publicly beheaded in the town of Serres, in what is now Greece. His death was meant to be a warning. Challenge the Sultan, and you risk not only your life, but the wrath of the state. Fun fact, sometimes the heads of defeated enemies were sent to the capital or displayed as trophies, a chilling combination of military and political messaging. Imagine standing in that crowd. What would you feel? Falaka might seem less extreme, but its effect was excruciating. The soles of the feet were beaten with rods or sticks, often leaving victims unable to walk for days. This punishment was widely used on soldiers, slaves, and even students. Interestingly, it left no visible scars, making it perfect for repeated use, a way to instill discipline without leaving permanent marks. Now, consider this. Could you survive even a single session of Falaka? And if repeated over time, the fear and anticipation alone could break a person before the blows even landed. Hanging was another common execution method, often performed in public squares with variations. Hooks, poles, or long ropes to maximize the spectacle. The goal was clear: to demonstrate state power and deter criminal behavior. Amputation, particularly of hands or feet, served both a practical and symbolic purpose. Thieves who lost their hands could no longer commit the same crime, while bystanders received a powerful warning. Here's a chilling tidbit. Sometimes amputated limbs were displayed in marketplaces or public squares, ensuring that the law's reach was visible to all. Can you picture seeing this as a child in the streets? Emasculation was one of the most extreme punishments, often applied as political retribution or to punish sexual crimes. By removing a man's genitals, authorities stripped him of social status, power, and his ability to continue his lineage. Impalement, perhaps the most infamous form of execution, involved driving a sharp stake through the body, slowly, excruciatingly, sometimes over hours or even days. Vlad the Impaler may come to mind, but the Ottomans themselves used this terrifying method to suppress rebellion and control their territories. Question for you: which would you consider worse, emasculation or impalement? Think carefully. This is history's horror made real. What ties all these punishments together is not just their cruelty, but their social function. Public visibility, symbolic power, and psychological terror were integral. These were lessons, demonstrations of authority, and warnings to society. The Ottoman Empire understood fear as a tool, a reminder that breaking the law could result in consequences beyond imagination. And here's a thought: the most feared punishments often coincided with periods of cultural flourishing. Music, architecture, literature thrived even alongside such brutality. What do you think? Does this contrast make history even more fascinating? History shows us the extremes of human behavior. Power, control, and fear intertwined with culture and politics. As you reflect on these punishments, ask yourself, how would you react in that society? Which of these methods shocked you the most? Write your thoughts in the comments. Let's discuss the horror and the history together.
If you want more stories that reveal the shocking, fascinating, and little-known corners of history, subscribe and hit the like button and tap the notification bell. Each new video takes you deeper into the past, uncovering truths that are as terrifying as they are educational. And don't forget, comment below which punishment you found the most horrifying. Your opinion matters.